Um, I think we're going to start seeing a little settling in with pricing. I don't know. We probably will still see some multiple offers come through because I think we still have people coming down. But not that prices will decrease, but I don't think, like someone else said, I don't know that we will have this frenzy going on, because I don't think we'll have as many people at this juncture since we're coming into the summer market.
Okay, great. Thank you, Janet. Are you saying that we're finally seeing a seasonality again that we haven't seen since 2019 and previously, right? Love it. Amanda, you guys,
words out of my mouth.
Yeah. Amanda, we're talking about what you guys are starting to see in the market. What's shifting? Maybe nothing's shifting for you. Maybe the group or demographic you're working with, you're still seeing. When in our business, it's just like any business, right? I mean, come on, let's talk about this. In any business, we need to be 3 or 4 months ahead.
Right.
We need to be thinking 3 to 4 months ahead. So I love it that you are all on the call today, because we're not going to talk about today. We're going to talk about tomorrow. When we think about homes that are starting to sit and sellers that don't want their home to sit, okay? And this is for everybody. This is not just for one region of the United States. If you have a seller whose home you don't want it to sit, and you're in an interest rate environment where you are looking at financing becoming a challenge, what did we do back in 2019? What did we do between 2008 and 2019 to help sellers get their home sold? What did we advise them to do for the buyer? Think way back to 2019. I know it seems like 10 years ago. What did we? Closing costs, rate buy downs, a lot of different things. So here's the thing. What conversations are you having? How has your marketing presentation evolved to change with the evolving market? And what are you doing to make sure that your sellers have the cutting edge information? So I want to go and talk to you right here on page 49 and listen to this, and then we're going to jump off the call. But the cause and challenge of a shift is simply one word: motivation. Write it down. Motivation. When a market has shifted, what has really happened is that the buyer and seller's motivation has changed. The buyer and seller's motivation has changed. Sam said, we're not seeing as much panic buying. The world is opening back up. People don't feel like they need to flood and move to Florida and Texas. Things are starting to normalize again. The buyer's motivation is changing. So how are you communicating that motivation change to your seller? The seller's motivation is not changing. The seller still wants to sell, but the seller's thought process from the last 2 years is what? What is it? Somebody tell me.
Everybody wants my property. They're going to pay no matter what.
Everybody wants my property. And not only that, could you please list it 50 or 75,000 higher than what the comps say? Right? Right? Okay. So what's the narrative now that we need to bring to the seller? Because the buyer's motivation is changing. So how will that change your calls this week when you are prospecting for listings? What changes in your conversation when you are prospecting for listings? What changes in your conversation to listings that you currently have that are not selling? And how does that conversation change when you go on your listing appointments this week? What are you bringing to the seller to show them that the motivation of the buyer perhaps is changing? Perhaps is changing. So this becomes the number one challenge of a shift: finding the motivated. Where there were once a large quantity of quality leads, there isn't, and the once clear pool feels more like a muddy puddle. Where the buyers and sellers had both personal reasons and positive market expectations as dual motivators, they now just have personal reasons. Listen to this again. Where the buyers and sellers both had personal reasons to sell and buy, and their expectation of the market was positive, those dual motivators caused panic buying, Sam. Interest rates are low. Is that positive for a buyer? A lot of cash on hand because my property up north is selling for $200,000 more than it should be. I got cash. I can come buy in the Southeast now, or Texas, or Midwest, or wherever you want to buy. Interest rates are low. Sellers want to sell because they can what? They can get what for their property? More than they've ever been able to get it. So you take a personal reason and positive economic market factors, and you put those two things together and you get 2020 and 2021. We could be moving into a market where Gary says the dual motivation is gone and now there's just personal reasons. The positive market conditions may be lessening and now there's just the personal motivation. Like Sam said, people that really need to buy because they're moving, job change, et cetera, et cetera. So don't be taken by surprise about what we could be seeing going forward. We don't have a crystal ball, so we don't know. But what we could be seeing going forward is an economic shift where buyers are now starting to pull back, and now sellers still have an expectation that they're going to get more for their home than what the comps state. And they still may, like Matt said, if the property is in top condition, we're still going to see some multiple offers. If it's move-in ready, top condition, multiple offers, but we may have property just sitting. So what can you do to bulletproof your business? Right now, I want to hear from you. What can you do to bulletproof your business?
Well, I'll tell you, we have some, this is a huge shift for the sellers also. And we recently listed a home. And, we were very brutally honest with them with, the market shifting and balancing and all that stuff. And of course, they didn't want to hear it. And they don't have a very great personality to begin with. So it was kind of one of those great, whatever. But we just got an offer finally on their home late last night. And I just sent the email over as I was logging on to present the offer. And it's the first offer that we've received in over 2 years that was under ask. And, it's a solid offer and it's a really good offer. It's a really good offer. And, if I were them, I'd run with it. And I know it's going to be a slap in the face for them. But it's also going to be a reality check. I'm kind of, I just kind of said, yay, we got an offer, review it. I'll call you later. I wanted to kind of sit with them because they're also, they need this. But it's the first time in over 2 years that we've received an offer under ask.
Okay. So I shared, Sam, may I quote you on that later today on a video that I'm going to do?
Sure.
Awesome.
Ooh.
I won't say Sam Abar. I'll just say Sam, agent in Southwest Florida. Okay. So here's the thing, or just agent in Florida. I'll make it generic. Here's the thing, guys. Who just said Becky? Who just said
Oops.
Becky?
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. No worries. So first offer under ask. Now, Sam and Brooke, they bring a very good home to the market. It's beautiful. It's beautifully decorated. It's beautifully presented. I can tell you it's not iPhone photos. It's a beautiful home they've presented to the market. And now they've just gotten their first under ask. And then we have to put that in perspective. Is it under ask? And I know Sam's already doing this. So here's the message you bring to your seller is that under ask where the market is right now. Because remember, the market is what a buyer is willing to pay and a seller is willing to sell for. That's the market. So how can we bring this message to our sellers? I love that Sam said that. So when we move forward this week, guys, here's a couple of things I want to say to you. We've been in this really busy market where things have been going crazy and buyers are everywhere and sellers are hard to come by. But when they come, we can sell them really quick and all of this other stuff. And my fear is that we've lost focus on how we reach our motivated sellers and buyers through lead generation, through follow up with our database, our DTD2. If you're not doubling down on your database, it is time to get back to it. Because let me tell you this, some of the agents that I coach in group coaching that are newer to the business, that don't really have the database that you might have after being in, they're struggling right now with buyers not really wanting to make offers and not being able to find sellers. It's really showing up. New agents in the last 2 years could come into this business and they would sell 5 to 7 million in volume like that. How many of you have seen it with brand new agents coming into the business? Now, that's not to say they still can't do that. But what I am saying to you is this, is that when they came into the business and it was easy because sellers were showing up and buyers were showing up, production was happening. But now that we're having to go back and really fall back on our systems, if you don't have systems, there's struggle. So my focus is with you is to bring a realization back to lead generation, tracking of numbers, tracking of your metrics, so that you understand where your business is coming from. Understand where your business is coming from. Last thoughts. Who's got some last thoughts you want to share? Any last thoughts before we jump off? Any last thoughts? Any last thoughts? Okay. Last thing I want to say to you here is I want to read this one last thing from your from the shift. As it says, you can aid someone to help them better understand why they should consider buying or selling this market, but you can't motivate them. Do you know what the difference is? Aid, you can help them uncover their motives, but you cannot motivate them. They're going to do what they want to do. Just like when I'm coaching agents, they're going to do what they want to do, right? They're either going to show up and do their lead gen or they're not, right? We can motivate and give tools and help and scripts and all this stuff, but you guys are going to make the decision to lead generate when you get off this call. Nothing I can do about it. Their rationale or reasons are theirs and theirs alone. And since you can't actually motivate people, your only choice will be to find more people that are looking to buy and sell. So this is why you must now ramp up your lead generation, because there are less of the motivated to find. Ramp up your lead generation. So if I were to open up your calendar for this week and I were to look at it, what would I find? Would I find a lead gen schedule that's supportive of the kind of business that you want to grow into? Or will I find a bunch of white space, blank space, right? Right? Okay, so here's your opportunity. Here's your opportunity is for you to get off this call. You don't need to look at your calendar. Go straight into lead generation from now until 11 o'clock. Make your phone calls. Make your phone calls. Make your phone calls. Real estate is what? It's a contact sport. Make your phone calls. Then get off of the phone call and look at your calendar for the week. And does it support the business goals that you have? Because what I'm hearing you guys say is that we're seeing the market's going to get a little hard. It's going to get a little hard. Think about the fall and the winter, right? So let's lead gen now. Let's take advantage of a really good market. We're still in a great market. We're still in a great market. We're still seeing multiple offers. We're still seeing people get what they want, and sellers get what they want, and buyers get what they want. So capitalize on this awesome market that we're still in and hit it hard today. Matt Steve says, why would they want to contact you in this market? What will they get when they do? Bring value and be a market expert. That's right. bring value, and be a market expert. Thanks, Matt. I love that. All right, guys. Love you. I'll see you tomorrow. We've got some guests this week because we're going to have a guest on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we are going to jump into atomic habits, because the way that you build a lead gen muscle is you build a lead gen habit. We're going to talk about that. And I'll see you tomorrow morning right here. Talk soon. Bye. Love you guys. Have a great day.